Good evening, everybody. We will go ahead and get started this evening. Welcome to our March 13th REDI Commissioner meeting, where we've got lots of business items, but one in particular. It's good to see a full audience tonight. With that, we'll go ahead and start the flag salute. I've delegated to Commissioner Eventhoff this evening, so thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we'll go ahead and begin with the roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Deutsch? Here. Vice Chair Eventhoff? Commissioner Lectors?
Here.
Chair Pastorian?
Here.
Commissioner Steed?
Here.
And Commissioner Wilson is absent. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments this evening?
We do, under non-agenda, and first only speaker is Ann Woodward. Ann, you can come on up. Ann? Yes, you can come on up.
I'm here representing the Temecula Valley Women's Club tonight. They're very interested in what's going on, and I'm here to show our interest. I guess I should add, I'm also the founding president 45 years ago.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead down and to our consent calendar. Approve the action minutes from February 13th. Do I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Steed and a second by Commissioner Lectors. I'll take the vote call roll. Commissioner Deutsch?
Aye.
Vice Chair Eventhoff?
Aye.
Commissioner Lectors?
Aye.
Chair Pastorian?
Aye.
And Commissioner Steed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to go ahead and move into, if you're following the agenda, we're moving our order here just so that we have such a full house. We want to make sure that we get everybody through. And so we're going to go ahead and start with our proclamation for Women's History Month this evening. So with that, do we have comments and staff reports there?
Yes, Chair Pastorian, we just want to welcome everybody. This is our annual month that we celebrate Women's History Month, and we have some great, wonderful student clubs that are here to present, as well as we have a general video like we normally do, and some comments by Supervisor Washington. So with that, Chris, if you just want to play the general video for Women's History Month.
History since the dawn of civilization, but it's the month of March that was chosen to honor women throughout history. Here's why. The origin story of Women's History Month is up for debate, but it was born right here in the U.S. during the suffrage movement, when women were fighting for the right to vote. Some historians say that its roots can be traced back to a protest on March 8, 1857. It was then that a group of women from New York City textile factories allegedly staged a strike over poor working conditions. But scholars argue that this demonstration was fabricated, suggesting that the strike was invented retroactively to give the annual celebration a more compelling backstory. At first, women's history was only observed for one day. The Socialist Party of America first declared National Women's Day in 1909 amid the women's rights movement, but the idea quickly spread around the globe. The idea of an International Women's Day was proposed and approved in 1910 at the International Conference of Working Women in Copenhagen, which we now celebrate every year on March 8th. Fast forward to the 1970s in Sonoma County, California, where a group of people were fed up that women's history was being left out of the classroom. The first Women's History Week was celebrated in March 1978, culminating with a parade in downtown Santa Rosa, California. This local celebration turned into a movement. Activists pushed to make this week official, and it worked. In 1980, President Carter issued the first presidential proclamation, declaring the second week of March as National Women's History Week. And that momentum kept growing. In 1987, Congress officially declared March as National Women's History Month. A special presidential proclamation is issued each year which honors the extraordinary achievements of women in America. But more than 30 years later, the fight for gender equality continues. In 2020, for every dollar a man made, women made 82 cents.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today to stay up to date
that
with all
is
the
the
latest
end
news.
of the video. And Chair Pastorian, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Perfect, thank you very much. And so with that, I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and start into our Women's History Month slides and data. So if we can pull those up. Perfect, thank you. So Women's History Month for the 2025 theme is Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations. The yearly theme is designated by the National Women's History Alliance. Women in America, by the numbers you can see here, is 168 million number of females in the United States in 2021. 4.2 million, about 1.9 million more females ages 85 and older, 4.2 million than males, and 2.3 million in the United States in 2022. 36.8% percentage of women 25 and older who had earned a bachelor's degree or higher, compared with 34.5% of men in 2021. 80.3 million number of females ages 16 and older who participated in the civilian labor force in 2022. 1.9 trillion women-owned businesses had an estimated 1.9 trillion in receipts, 10.9 million employees, and 432.1 billion in annual payroll in 2021. Which is incredible numbers. Our timeline for women's history starts here in March 31st of 1776. In a letter to her husband, John Adams, Abigail Adams makes a plea to him and the Continental Congress to remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. In July 19th through 20th, 1848, First Women's Rights Convention, the Seneca Falls Convention, is held in New York. 68 women and 32 men, including Frederick Douglass, signed the Declaration of Sentiments. May 29th, 1851, Sojourner Truth delivers her famous anti-woman speech at the Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio. December 10th, 1869, unincorporated territory in Wyoming passes America's first women's suffrage law, granting women the right to vote and hold office. In 1890, Wyoming is the 44th state admitted to the Union and becomes the first state to allow women the right to vote. April 2nd, 1917, Jeanette Rankin of Montana is sworn in as the first woman elected to Congress as a member of the House of Representatives. August 18th, 1920, ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is completed, declaring the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. May 20th to 21st, 1932, Amelia Earhart becomes the first woman to fly solo nonstop across the Atlantic. December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat to a white man on the bus in Montgomery, Alabama, helping to launch the civil rights movement. June 10th, 1968, President John F. Kennedy signs into law the Equal Pay Act, prohibiting wage discrimination between men and women performing the same job in the same workplace. July 2nd, in 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act into law and bans the employment discrimination based on race, religion, and national origins of sex. June 23rd, 1972, President Richard Nixon signs into law the Education Amendment, stating that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in or be denied the benefits or subjected to the discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. September 20th, 1973, Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs in straight sets during tennis exhibition match that aired on primetime TV, drawing 90 million viewers. And on July 7, 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor is sworn in by President Ronald Reagan as the first woman to serve the U.S. Supreme Court. July 12, 1984, the Democratic presidential nominee Walter Mondale names Geraldine Ferraro as the running mate, making her the first woman vice president nominee by a major party. March 12, 1993, nominated by President Bill Clinton, Janet Reno is sworn in as the first female Attorney General of the United States. January 23, 1997, nominated by President Bill Clinton, Madeleine Albright is sworn in as the first female Secretary of State of the United States. January 4, 2007, Nancy Pelosi becomes the first female Speaker of the House. July 26, 2016, Hillary Clinton becomes the first woman to receive a presidential nomination from a major political party. January 20th, 2021, Kamala Harris is sworn in as the first woman and the first woman of color Vice President of the United States. So our final message, as always, is Happy Women's History Month, but let's ace it, acknowledge, celebrate, and educate our Women's History Month. And we have a full house to do just that this evening, so I am very, very happy and excited with what we have. This evening, I believe we have an additional presentation.
Yes, we actually have a video message from Supervisor Washington.
Good evening, Temecula. Riverside County 3rd District Supervisor Chuck Washington here, joining you all virtually for the REDI Commission's recognition of Women's History Month. Women's History Month is very special to me because I'm surrounded by talented, hardworking, and resilient women every single day. My 3rd District team. My staff of 8 help me represent the 500,000 constituents who call the 3rd District home and ensure that each resident receives the kind of services they need to thrive. I hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about them, and I invite you to follow me on social media, where we are highlighting even more women who lead and lift others up in the thriving 3rd District.
And I know we have Councilmember Schwenk here to offer a few words as well.
Thank you very much, Executive Director Joel. Thank you to the REDI Commission, Chair Pastorian, for allowing me to make a public statement here tonight. I'm also making a fashion statement. I'm wearing my Sabrina ones. If you're into shoes, I am into shoes, so in honor of Women's History Month, I wore my Sabrina ones. I'll get to my UCLA shirt in a minute. But it's truly an honor to be here, to participate in Women's History Month, to be surrounded by powerful women, authors, business owners, educators, lawyers, city clerks, public servants, our finance team in the back, in the front as well. Our deputy Knitzer in the back. Like the team that we have, the powerful team of women we have at the city is phenomenal, and I'm just honored to be a part of that. Along the lines of what Supervisor Washington said, I'm also part of Riverside Transit Agency, and I was part of the board and the hiring committee that hired the first woman CEO to run Riverside Transit Agency, Kristen Warsinski. Extremely proud of the work that Kristen's doing, shepherding RTA through the COVID and sort of back into normalcy, if you will, and RTA is thriving. So I'm really excited to see all the women in our community just do amazing work day in and day out, lifting up our community and just making a wonderful impact. I would be remiss if I didn't take a few minutes to talk about my family, since I have the mic. My wonderful wife is an educator in the district, much like many of the educators here. She's been an educator in this district for 20 plus years. My mother, my aunt, my grandmother, rest in peace, all made just a massive impact on my life. And I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for those women in my life. My mother-in-law as well. And my daughter, and the reason I wore this shirt today, she took her last class at UCLA today, and she's graduating with a BA in English, and she minored in a professional writing. So I wanted to wear this and rub it in my USC friend's face. But I want to say that I'm proud of my family, But I'm also proud of everyone here in Temecula, and I'm honored to be here and to be part of this and to be on council and everything that's going on in the world and in our country right now, and we're able to still lean into this, and we're still here, and we're still doing the work. Let's keep doing the work, and let's keep making our city just the wonderful place it is and keep lifting everyone up. So I'm excited to learn from our students tonight and hear more from everyone, so I'll be sitting here and listening intently and learning, so thank you all for my time. I see the timer's not even going down, so I can just keep going and going. But I won't. I'm done. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Councilmember Schwank, we appreciate you lifting up everybody in this room and beyond. Chair Pastorian, I would invite you to go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we have some amazing student clubs that we're going to hear from.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation, and those of you who will be receiving the proclamation tonight will be receiving one of these. So this is what will be inside. The City of Temecula Proclamation, whereas National Women's History Month celebrates the legacy of trailblazing women and girls who have built, shaped, and improved upon our city, state, and nation. And whereas women of every age, race, religion, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of Temecula in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas whether serving in an elected position, leading groundbreaking civil rights movements, venturing into unknown frontiers, or programming revolutionary technologies, generations of women shared new ideas and opened new doors, having a profound and positive impact on our community. And whereas women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist, emancipation, industrial labor, civil rights, and peace movements, which have created a more fair and just society for all. Whereas despite their contributions, the role of women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in literature, leadership, teaching, and study of American history. And whereas women play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of life in Temecula, and now therefore I, Mayor Brendan Kalfas, on behalf of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim this month of March 2025 to be National Women's History Month, and call upon our community to learn more about the history of women and to observe this month with appropriate programs and activities.
All right, so your turn. We are going to start to bring up our fabulous student clubs. The first one is actually from MSJC Queens Club. If you are here, MSJC Queens, come on up. Welcome. So we would love to hear a few words from you at the podium regarding your club, and then if you would like to pick up your proclamation, you're welcome to do that as well.
Hello, my name is Halima Silver. And I'm Joya Miller. So I started Queens, which is Quality Women Uplifting, Educating, Empowering, Networking Society, as a student at MSJC for the young women of color because there was nothing at our college for them. And as I went on this journey, I seen how we all need to uplift each other. We all need to empower each other and educate each other, not only as sisters, moms, aunties. You know, we're actually the head of the household. You know, we keep things going, and sometimes we need each other to lean on. And by letting each other know that we're all queens, we all can lean on each other as well as uplift each other. And we got to start with the young ones, letting them know they're princesses and prepping them to be queens. And this is one of our students at the Temecula campus, Joya. So go ahead and say.
So Queens is an excellent opportunity for young women, young adults to form a community within their own generation in order to grow and learn from their predecessors like myself and our wonderful founder, Halima. So thank you for recognizing Queens and giving us this proclamation.
I definitely want to thank the City of Temecula for this honor as well.
Thank you, ladies. We appreciate you. You're welcome to go ahead and take the proclamation. For anybody that requested a proclamation in advance through the city clerk's office, it will be labeled on the table adjacent to the podium. If you're here and you didn't pre-request, but you're like, hey, I want one too, just go ahead and contact the city clerk's office and we'll be happy to get that for you. Next up, we have the Great Oak High School She's the First Club. And we are going to actually take a 5-minute recess after this item to do pictures, so please do stick around.
Good evening. My name is Lila Vertiflor. I'm the president from She's the First from Great Oak High School. We are so happy to be here and to join you lovely people tonight for this special celebration during Women's History Month. It is truly an honor to be in a room full of incredible individuals as we celebrate the resilience, achievements, and influence of women from the past, present, and future. As a club, She's the First is committed to continuing the empowerment of women in both our community and around the world. We thank you for this opportunity to celebrate and reflect together. Let's continue to uplift one another as we recognize the vital contributions of women everywhere.
Hello. I'd just like to reiterate how much of a privilege it is to be here with all you wonderful people. So I'm sure you all are wondering, what is She's the First? Well, She's the First is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the empowerment of women across the globe. The organization collaborates with grassroots leaders in order to spread awareness about women's rights and gender equality. Through She's the First, hundreds of girls have been able to obtain higher education and become mentors to those of the next generation.
Hello, I'm Mary Kalima. I am the volunteer coordinator for She's the First. I just wanted to thank the city of Temecula for giving us the opportunity to speak here. So our club, She's the First, was created in 2023, and we've been happily growing our club ever since. We hope that by sharing knowledge about women's struggles, it can also uplift and empower our students as well. She's the First always strives to create a loving and accepting community, not only in our high school, Great Oak High School, but also throughout Temecula and so on.
Hi, my name is Shelby Brazil, and I'm one of the vice presidents. And our mission is just to provide a safe space on campus where anyone can come together and discuss women's rights and gender equality. We want to educate and empower everyone on just women and what we do for our community. We do this by providing fun, educational games, as well as highlighting specific women from our history or present day and their accomplishments. We also provide volunteer opportunities to help people in need in our community. Thank you.
Thank you all for honoring us and allowing us to speak tonight again. I'm Cynthia, and I'm the secretary of this club. As you can see presented to you on the screen above, we've shown you pictures of our community, we've fostered, and we continue to cultivate. Everyone you see up on that screen, I'm extremely proud of. These are the many wonderful people that involve themselves with our club, that dedicate themselves and push themselves continuously, aiding us in elevating this beautiful community that is steadfast in acknowledging these women.
Hi everyone, my name is Ariana Diggs, and in our club at Great Oak, we also aim to spread the knowledge of women's inequality in present day as well. Many times I get asked, why do we need to keep having resilience? Why do we need to keep fighting for equality? Why do we need to keep pushing for attention in women's history? Mostly because people look at our Constitution and see that on paper, men and women are supposed to be equal. So for these people, here are some few statistical facts from recent studies here on the slides, including how women around the world earn up to 80% of what a man does for the same job, yet play a larger role in taking care of children, and 91% of all assault cases are against women. And we acknowledge the fact that these statistics are not just averages, not even showing the extreme cases like Afghanistan. As listed here, 15 million women in Afghanistan are not allowed to do the following, even go to secondary schools or universities, among even more items that are not on the board. These statistics are not just bullet points. They represent real people, real struggles, and real injustices that continue today. And change only happens when people speak up and take action. So here today, we challenge each of you to be a part of the movement by supporting women's voices, advocating for equality, or simply educating yourself and others on the issues still prevalent today. And to conclude my section, I want to give a special thank you to a strong and empowering Afghan woman, my mom back there, who raised me to be the person I am today. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Manya. I started this club last year and have passed it down to our wonderful president, Lila, and I'm so proud to see what this club has become. We've organized drives, we've collaborated with other clubs, and we continue to expand our member size. And with that being said, I hope that this club continues after we graduate, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, ladies. Next up, if you want to go ahead and grab your certificate. And again, after this, we're going to have a little break for photos. If we can take the photos on the break, that would be great. Next up, we have Great Oak High School Air Force JROTC. Come on up.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity to honor our leadership. I am Colonel Scott Barbarides, and I'm the commander, blessed to be the commander of Air Force JROTC at Great Oak High School. For the last 10 years, Air Force JROTC has been honored by the Air Force on multiple occasions. We've earned the Outstanding Organization Award, Distinguished Unit Award, and last year, the highest accolade that you could possibly earn, the Distinguished Unit Award with merit. That's saved for the top 15% of the over 850 units in the world. With Chief Jones and Master Sergeant Macias, we run the program, but the LDRs, which are leadership development requirements, are run by our cadets. An LDR, think of an LDR as a club. They meet before school, after school, and during school. One of our LDRs is drill, and they competed last year and won 10 trophies at a local drill meet. They're going to be competing shortly now, and then after spring break, and they're hoping to win 11. Our drone team, which operates over $40,000 worth of drones, came in second in the nation in a drone obstacle course. They'll be competing and hoping to win first in about 2 weeks. They also offer a Part 107 rating, which is with the FAA, which allows them to become commercial drone operators. We also have a Kitty Hawk program, which is a nationally, did you get that? That's a nationally organized and run organization, which is for only Air Force JROTC cadets as well as ROTC cadets. They do community service on campus, they do knowledge base, and they do tutoring for our cadets. Besides Kitty Hawk, we have an awareness presentation team, APT, and they are seniors that go to middle schools and talk about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. Our last club, which started this year, is our robotics club. We couldn't fit them in the morning because we're too busy. We couldn't fit them in the afternoon. So they come in the lunch times on their own accord and operate high-end robotics that is provided by the Air Force. It must be obvious to you now, because it's painfully obvious to the instructors, that we cannot do this on our own. We rely very, very heavily on our cadets. We mentor them for 3 years, and the 4th year, all they lack is opportunity, and that's what we give them. There's 2 types of cadets. There's a tactical end, and they work very closely with our flights, and they mentor and instruct our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And then we have our top 5, these ladies here tonight. They're our key staff, strategic thinkers, long-range planners. They execute our mill ball, which is a prom actually for ROTC. They execute our awards banquet, which we have friends and family attend and hand out multiple awards. Their goal this year was to earn over $45,000 for our unit, and they did. Not only do they earn $45,000, they set aside 10% of the net to give to the community. VSSN, which is a Veteran Supplemental Support Network, which helps prevent suicides among our veterans, and for the North Carolinians who were struck tragically with the tornadoes and hurricanes, they gave a stipend to them as well. In addition to the $45,000, their goal is for 4,100 hours of community service. Right now, we have over 3,100 hours of community service on par to hit our 4,100. And they lead the community service. They are leaders in our organization, and I just happen to have them right now, and they're going to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Colonel. Good evening. I am Cadet Colonel Haley Eliason. I am one of the 2 group commanders of our JROTC unit. Within AFJROTC, I have also held leadership positions within our Kitty Hawk Honor Society and our awareness presentation team, while also participating on a 4-man saber team at a drill competition last year. Outside of AFJROTC, I am also a Girl Scout, a varsity field hockey player, a member of our school's National Honor Society, and other clubs, including being the vice president of our Operation Dandelion Club, a military support group on campus. And after high school, I am looking to pursue a PhD in biochemistry while participating in Navy ROTC, which I received a scholarship for, to eventually become a forensic toxicologist in the United States Navy.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Colonel Kalei Lopez. I'm the other group commander for this unit. Within AFJROTC, I'm involved in drill. I'm this year's drill commander. Outside of AFJROTC, I'm one of the presidents of the Latino Culture Club at Great Oak High School, Nuestra Cultura, as well as a part of the French National Honor Society. Outside of school, I hold various leadership positions in church, such as the song service leader, as well as the youth program director. After high school, I will be attending the prep school for the Air Force Academy, where after completion of that, I will attend the Air Force Academy and study psychology and become a special investigations officer.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Julian Piastro. I'm the Operations Support Squadron Commander for the unit. Within AFJROTC, I am an advisor for the Kitty Hawk Honor Society, as well as a member in the competing 4-man drill saber team. Outside of JROTC, I am the captain for the Great Oak Girls Varsity Lacrosse team, as well as a president for a recycling club and veteran support club on campus. Yes.
Good evening. I am Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Mia Bernardo, and I am the Mission Support Squadron Commander of this unit. Within JROTC, I'm the head of our public affairs, and previously I was also part of our military marching unarmed drill team. Outside of JROTC, I am the president of our Red Cross Club and a co-founder and officer of our Women in STEM Club as well. And I'm also a part of Girls Varsity's tennis team, as well as a competitor for our Science Olympiad team. After high school, I plan on going to a 4-year college, majoring in aerospace engineering, while also partaking in College Air Force ROTC.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Chief Master Sergeant Yumi Medcalf. I'm the senior enlisted leader of this unit. Within Air Force JROTC, I was previously a color guard commander as well as a part of the awareness presentation team in the Kitty Hawk Honor Society. Currently, I'm on the drone squadron. Outside of Air Force Junior ROTC, I am a part of the National Honor Society, the president of the Operation Dandelion Club, which is a military family support group on campus, and I ran with a nationally ranked cross-country team. Outside of school, I previously volunteered at the March Air Reserve-based Public Affairs Office, as well as the 33rd Rescue Squadron in Okinawa, Japan, where over the summer I had the opportunity to go on a fly-along with them. And I am also a graduate of the U.S. Marine Corps Youth Leadership Program, Devil Pups. After high school, I hope to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy or Texas A&M as a part of their Air Force ROTC program, then go into the U.S. Air Force to become a combat rescue helicopter pilot.
The core values of the United States Air Force are integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. These young ladies are honor roll students, they are varsity athletes, and they are leaders, captains, and supervisors of every organization that they're involved in. I believe I can speak with the entire room when I believe we'll be watching your future with keen interest, and we wish you Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, we have Temecula Valley High School Women's Auto Club. Come on up. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having us here. I'm Janelle. Hello, thank you for having us here. I'm Janelle, president of the Women's Auto Club.
Hi, I'm Lorena Vargas. I'm the vice president of Women's Auto.
And I'm Addison Watson, a member of the Women's Auto.
We're the Women's Auto Club of Temecula Valley High School. We are a club dedicated to teaching girls about their cars and how to perform basic maintenance on them to inspire independence and avoid dealerships and auto shops taking advantage of them. Additionally, we hope to encourage those with an interest in the automotive industry to pursue their interests despite the lack of women in the field.
We have heard our fair shares of teases, taunts, and discouraging comments about the club. We've heard boys saying, "How can you work on cars when you can't even drive them?" The words are always drowned out by praises and appreciation from women who were born in a time when they didn't have the option to have this club or take auto class that few of our members do. It's a heartbreaking truth of the past, but we are proud to be able to help rectify in our own small way by providing hands-on auto lessons for the ladies who are interested in learning.
We aim to inspire confidence and uplift women to not shy away from learning basic skills that anyone would find useful in their daily life without fear of judgment or shame simply because those skills are known as masculine.
It is our hope that those who join our club can proudly claim to be members of Women's Auto with their heads held high, and that no matter how many voices try to tell them they can't, they can only hear one voice, their own, telling them yes, they can.
Thank you very much, ladies. And I know we have a couple of public comments.
Yes, our first public comment is Emily and Sam. Come on up. We'll have up to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amelie Henisch.
And my name is Sam Maduri.
And we are both representatives from Great Oak High School from World Religions Club. Today, we just want to discuss about the diversity in women's empowerment within our religious club. For many women, religion is a deeply personal and powerful part of their identity. Yet too often, they are misunderstood or judged for how they practice or express their beliefs. Imagine being a woman who wears a hijab, not as an obligation, but a symbol of strength and devotion, only to face misconceptions and assumptions. Or consider a woman who yearns to take on a leadership role in her religious community, but finds her voice silenced because of her gender. These are real experiences that women from all walks of life across different religions face every day. But it doesn't have to be this way. Our mission with the World Religions Club is to create a space where every woman, regardless of her faith, feels respected, heard, and supported. World Religions Club was started by amazing students who tried to combine the various backgrounds and cultures our student body comes from, celebrating the diversity and allowing students to share and explore their passions in regards to religion. Through our club, we seek to better understand the challenges women face in their religious practices, whether through ongoing discussions about Hinduism, exploration of women's role in Buddhism, or the unique ways spirituality and diverse belief systems within Christianity. Through our weekly meetings, we not only focus on educating individuals, we also come together to listen, learn, and appreciate the wide range of experiences women have within their religious communities. We recognize that each religion offers different practices and values, and we approach each one with respect, curiosity, knowing that these beliefs shape women's lives in a meaningful way. By understanding these experiences, we can break down stereotypes and build deeper empathy for one another. This allows for the students that take part in our meetings to explore themselves religiously and spiritually.
But we also know that learning is not enough. Actions and service are also equally important. Our community service initiatives provides opportunities for us to engage with and support religious communities outside and inside of our school. For instance, we have worked with the Muslim Student Association,
Emma Faruqi, and participated in the Temecula Culture Festival, where we always had a stand and have been participating over the last few years. And on top of that, we would also like to collaborate with the Muslim Student Association again for the upcoming festival, Ramadan, to create a more inclusive community around our student body and to alleviate said stereotypes in regards to the Muslim religion. Through this, we get to create a space where every student can connect with people from diverse faith backgrounds. These experiences allows us to learn firsthand about the richness of different religious traditions, especially the unique roles that women play within them. Through these efforts, we are working to foster respect, understanding, and inclusion in a world that too often divides us. At the heart of all this is a simple truth. Regardless of our faith, every woman deserves to have her beliefs valued and her voice heard. Our goal is not to elevate one religion over another, but to celebrate the diversity of women's religious experiences and create a world where every woman feels empowered to live her faith openly and confidently.
Together, we can help build a future in which every woman of every faith is respected, appreciated, and supported. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to have us here and let us talk in front of you guys. We truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Stevie Wonderful Lecters.
Thank you for that reluctant applause. This is called Still I Am Rising, a spoken chronicle of women's history. Though I freed 1,000 slaves, 1,000 more could I have freed still, but the greater battle waged against the mind, what she thinks she knows and what she knows she feels. Remember, every great dream with a dreamer does begin. Remember, the passion, the patience, and the strength you need to change the world, baby, that's resident within. I conducted the freedom train. Let the stars of heaven light the way. Fearless in peril, even in the darkness of the day. I am Harriet Tubman. Still, I am rising. To educate a woman is like the rising tide of every boat. The greater good is her aim as she's empowered with her vote. Cast her ballot that she may take her stand. I fought for a woman's right to have her say, I took the blows and served the time to pave the way. I am Susan B. Anthony. Still, I am rising. Never bend your head, hold it high. Look the world straight in the eye. Though my eyes can't see and I have no working auditory, listen up, I am not dumb. Instructed at the miracle worker's hand that I, with bold tenacity, could overcome. So I stood up to give voice to those unable, choosing light in the darkness. I defied every label. I am Helen Keller. Still, I am rising. I will not give up my seat. My head held high, I won't bow in defeat. It's said where you stand depends on where you sit. So in peaceful pursuit, I shall never quit. Still, I am rising. I am Rosa Parks. From the slums of Calcutta to an audience with kings, I speak for those once invisible. I do this one thing. The greatest for the least of these when I focus on the one. I stand the voice for those who would otherwise have none. If you can't feed 100 people, then please feed just one. I am Mother Teresa. Still, I am rising. You learn by living the what, the where, the why, and the with whom your time is spent. Remember, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Through experience, strength, courage, and confidence you'll gain when each day you boldly face your fears anew. If at first you don't succeed, try, yes, try again. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. I am Eleanor Roosevelt. Still, I am rising. Your tactics are tired, your devices well known. Silence a woman as a girl before she's full grown. Well, I am that girl. Yes, sir, I am she. When you deny the one in education, you deny it to me. Armed solely with a mind of courageous conviction, this battle will be won with my voice and not your gun. A clarion call to the nations. I'll not have to fight alone. So I'll play the tune of a drum major with a little band of my own. There's a prize for peace, a Nobel one, they say. Yet remember me not as the girl who was shot, but the one who stood up and led the way. I am Malala Yousafzai. Still, I am rising. So start where you are. Do what you can, despite the devices and the evils of man. Ask the God question, what's in your hand? Then declare, this one thing I do, and for that you must stand. Discern the facts from the truth and the truth from the lies, the firm foundation on which you may stand to your feet. Now, we rise, rise, rise.
Thank you, everyone, for all of that. That was a lot, and I think we're going to go ahead and go through commissioner comments first as we go through, and then we'll go ahead and take the 5 minutes for pictures and photos. So I'm looking at you, Commissioner Lecter.
You want me to go first
I know.
after my wife just delivered that?
It was strategic, yes.
Strategic. Yes, that was my bride, and clearly you can tell that I married way up. Thank you, honey, for that amazing spoken word. This is another testimony to the greatness of our community, to the beauty of our community. To listen to the young women tonight gives me a sense of hope. I'm feeling safe by our ROTC reps tonight. I mean, it's just like, yeah, things are going to be all right. We celebrate history, and we celebrate it this way because we're in an environment now where history is suspect. History is not told completely, but history is not selective. History is collective, and we need to remember that and continue to celebrate these amazing proclamations in these months so we can be clear about the reality and the truth of history and how history has led us to where we are. I'm a firm believer that we all stand on the shoulders of those who come before us. And I was listening to, as Chair Pastorian delivered the comments this evening, and the first quote she said was from Abigail Adams 250 years ago. Remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. That rings true today. So 250 years later, we still need to heed her advice. So I'm encouraged tonight. I believe that there is better to come, that we are on the right path towards that. It may feel like we're veering right and left sometimes, but we're on the right path. And I want to encourage all the young women who are here tonight and who hear this, do not underestimate your power. Do not underestimate your influence. Do not underestimate your amazingness. I have great hope from what I heard tonight, and I thank you all for sharing with us.
Thank you, Commissioner Lecter. Commissioner Doi?
So when I was graduating high school, there was a study that came out that said in a classroom setting, a faculty member was more likely to call on the male students in the room than the females. And I thought, what can I do about that for me to make sure that I get the education that I need and I deserve? And I lived in Denver at the time, and I ended up here in Southern California at Scripps College, a women's college in Claremont. That education proved to me, beyond anything I could have imagined, the power within a community of women. And as I sit here tonight, I look out at all of you who have presented to us and told us what you're doing, where you're headed, where your mind is, and I am so proud. Things are changing. Maybe not quickly enough, but things are constantly changing. You are the reason I went to a women's college, to find my own voice, and here you are, shouting with yours. I wish everyone could see the presentations that we saw this evening. I am grateful for you being here. I am grateful for the things you are doing. And as our poet reminded us, we rise. We all rise. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Commissioner Steed? Well, I was just blown away, especially at the end of it. The poems, the quotes are so inspiring. I was like, please don't fall up on the dais. That would be really bad. Would not be good. I think Adam with tears in his eyes too, so it made me feel a little bit better. Okay, good. But it was wonderful, thank you. And thank you for being here on behalf of Temecula Women's Club. You guys have such an amazing history here in our valley. It is wonderful that you're here and made time to be here for all these young girls. And we get to the girls who are surrounded by our teachers, about our parents. I have 2 boys. I didn't get the opportunity to raise a girl. But I know that if I had a girl, I would want her to be just like all of you. You're strong, you're brave, and you're articulate. Thank you for being here.
Vice Chair Evantop?
Well, I'm not nearly as eloquent as the folks that were at the dais, on the dais or in the audience tonight, but I wanted to say thank you for the inspiration, for the incredible hope that you leave us with. The fact that everybody that was up there decided that there is no mold, that they are living their lives, that they are living their path, and they're living their destiny. And I just think that is such a inspiring thing. So much eloquence, so much drive and determination. You know, you always have to be vigilant about our future, vigilant about our rights, vigilant about that. It was only 50 years ago that women were just getting the right to own a business or even have their own credit. And that was only 50 years ago. We, of course, talk about the right to vote, but, you know, this is, you know, in Switzerland, they only got the right to, women had the right to vote, what, 1978? And so this is something that is a current history. There is no history. We're in it. It is constantly evolving. We're immersed in all of it, and we never need to stop fighting. We have to keep going. We have to keep pushing to make our own destinies, and of course, create your own sort of path. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the inspiration. Being an Air Force family, by the way, good job. And I am just very grateful for the inspiration left here today.
Thank you. I am blown away as well with tonight. There's so many amazing opportunities that we got to hear about and see. Each one of you has a spark inside of you from the time you are born. And it's when that fire starts to ignite and just go. And it is so relevant to see it burning so bright tonight in each of you. It starts with an interest, right? It starts with having something that you're interested in, and it turns into a dream, it turns into a goal, becomes an action, and then it's executed on. And each of you are starting that process already right now, and it's so clear and so evident in everything that you said, where you stand, how firm you are. But through that, the journey is not easy by any stretch. Women struggle. Women struggle. But it's through that struggle that we find resilience, and that resilience provides us the ability to burn bright, brighter than anyone could have ever imagined. It was not many years ago that I was walking through a conference with a woman who is in here tonight who I respect immensely, that I was talking about that my fire started to burn brighter later in life. That woman is Nicole Deas. And I walked through that conference, and I was just feeling like, it's starting to burn brighter later. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And she gave me that ability to say, you know what? Life happens, right? Life happens, and you are still burning bright in those areas in which life occurred. And I think that's an important message, because you ladies, you young ladies, will experience that life, and life will take you into different directions as it does, and most women in this room will nod their head yes, because it does. You just don't expect it. But it takes you where you need to go to learn the things that you need to learn in order for yourselves to be where you are going to be, and to achieve that goal and succeed at that dream, and to live the life and to continue to rise. And that is the most important thing, is that when those things occur, to continue and remember to rise. That is what women do. We stand up every single time. And I know that every single one of you will remember that and do that, because each and every one of you, you are women's history. Thank you. Go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock for photos for everybody, and then in 5 minutes we will regain our meeting and continue on our agenda. Thank you.
All right. Chair Pastorian, we are ready to go.
Perfect, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. If you could shut the doors as you exit, that would be great. And we will go ahead and move into our business meeting for this evening. And I believe we have a presentation to receive the budget tonight.
We do. It is that time of year again where our finance department provides a presentation to each of our commissions seeking input. With that, I'll go ahead and introduce our fabulous Finance Director, Jennifer Hennessy. Happy Women's History Month, Jennifer.
Another incredible
Thank
woman.
you, Randy.
Wonderful.
All right, good evening. All right, I will jump right in if they can play the presentation. All right, so this evening, as Randy said, we are back. This is our budget engagement session. We're doing this with all the commissions. We will go over we'll try to make it brief, but a budget cycle overview. We're going to touch on the status of our general fund budget, Measure S, TCSD, our capital improvement program. We'll give you an update on our debt and liability paydown, and then we have a fun little survey at the end. I will introduce my team. So I'm Jennifer Hennessy, I'm the Director of Finance, and we have Ward Comers, he's our Assistant Director, and then Paula Majors is our Fiscal Services Manager, and then Catlin Dorsett is our Management Analyst. And I'll turn it over to Catlin to walk you through our budget cycle.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Catlin, and I'm going to walk you through our budget process for the annual operating budget and the capital improvement program. So our budget cycle kicks off in January of each year when we do our current year mid-year update, which means we look at the revenue and expenditures for the current year to determine if more or less budget is needed to get us through the rest of the fiscal year. At this time, we also forecast our revenues for the coming fiscal year and complete our preliminary 5-year projection, which serves as our foundation for the coming year's annual operating budget. In February, the City Council approves the mid-year budget requests, and all departments within the city will submit their budgets, their requested budgets for the coming year. In March, we hold our budget engagement sessions with the city commissions, much as we're doing this evening with you all. And at that time, Finance will schedule meetings with each of the city departments to review their budget requests that they made in the prior month. In April, we develop the proposed operating and capital budgets. And in May, we hold our budget workshop so council can review the proposed budgets. And at a later date, also in May, the City Council will adopt the final operating and capital budget. And finally, in June, we distribute the physical and digital copies of our adopted budget books. The process for developing our annual operating budget is three-part. First, we look at the economic forecasts, local trends, consultant recommendations, and prior year carryovers to come up with our revenue projections. Then we compile all of our operating expenditures, which include personnel requests, operations and maintenance costs, and capital outlay. Capital outlay items are non-reoccurring assets that do not exceed $5,000. Lastly, we incorporate the performance measures, which all tie back to our quality of life master plan, also known as the QLMP. Departmental narratives, which include the services goals and accomplishments for all of the city departments, and the fiscal policies to create the final annual operating budget. And you'll see there on the right of the slide, that's a picture of our current adopted annual operating budget. Next, the development of the capital improvement program begins with calculating available revenues, updating existing project cost projections, and adding in new project requests. Then each project is linked to one of the QLMP core values, and any relevant operations and maintenance costs are also added in. For example, if a new facility were requested, this would mean the staffing and the maintenance costs to run that facility. From here, we ensure funding sources are identified for the first 3 years of the project. The CIP is a 5-year projection, wherein the first year is adopted, but there is also a plan in place for the following 4 years. Added to that is the supporting documentation, such as the index and future projects, and that becomes our capital improvement program budget. And you'll see there again, there's a photo of our current CIP program budget. And that is it for me. I'm going to kick it over to our Assistant Director, Ward Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Ward Comers, Assistant Finance Director and USC alumnus, but don't tell Councilmember Schwank. All right, that's my joke for the night. I will move on. All right, we're going to talk about budget projections and the fiscal year 24-25 mid-year and some other things. Start with the economic outlook. We look at the economy as a whole nationwide, and then we look at the economy for California when we're preparing our budget projections. Starting with the national economy, as an example, we use the University of Michigan outlook, and they're projecting GDP growth dipping from 2.8% to 2.1%. They're anticipating unemployment to rise from 4 to 4.4%. They are suggesting that inflation is sticky, but it is falling. If you go to Denny's or Waffle House, you'll pay an extra 50 cents for an egg, but so there's an example of that. Consumer sentiment has been uncertain. People like us are worried about inflation still. In terms of the California economy, one of the surveys we use is Beacon Economics. Very similar story to the national picture. Economy is showing resilience, but challenges loom. State GDP growth is expected to be 2.2%, and they're projecting unemployment to remain steady at 5.1%. Some of our budget assumptions going forward, we use various inputs for that. For statewide sales tax, we use a forecast from a consultant called HDL. We've had 2 down years in a row for sales tax, down -1.3 and down 0.8. For 25-26, they're expecting a growth of 2.6%, and we are assuming 2.5% sales tax growth for our budget. Property tax also comes from HDL. They're anticipating growth as well, 4.5% for taxable value, 4.3% growth for property tax in lieu of VLF. We're assuming 4% for our budget. Gas tax revenue estimates come from California cities. They're projecting 1.9% growth. We are assuming for building and development 0% growth. And then we've got a 2.3% COLA programmed in the budget, and that is due to contractual obligations with the employees. Looking at fiscal year 24-25, our mid-year budget that was presented to council on February 11th. The picture is looking good. Sales tax of, I won't go into these in a lot of detail, but sales tax is about 44 million, property tax 11 million, property tax in lieu of VLF 11 million. Total revenue is about 110 million for the general fund. At mid-year, we did make some revenue adjustments of down of 220,000, but overall things are very good. If you look at the chart on the right-hand side, that gives you a historical perspective. The green line is our revenue, and the bluish bars, those are our expenditures. And so you want to see the green line above the blue bars, and that's what you got going backwards, and that's what you have going forwards in the future years as our projections. So the city is in a very healthy position. A little more about the mid-year budget. About 53% of our expenditures go to public safety, so that's police and fire. That's 43 million and 11 million there between those two. Admin is 16 million, public works is 21 million, community development 9 million. Our total expenditure is about 100 million for the city general fund. At mid-year, we had expenditure adjustments of an increase of 2 million. That was due to new employees for fire inspections and their vehicles, and then insurance and workers' comp, increasing our workers' comp reserves. For our fund balance, which is how much, basically how much money we have in the bank left over, we've got our reserve for economic uncertainty is 20 million. We have a secondary reserve of 5 million, assigned fund balance of about 1 million, and we have available fund balance of about 12 million. Total fund balance is about 38 million. If you look at the chart on the right, our target fund balance is the black line with the yellow diamonds. That's our target, and our fund balance has been above our target in the past, and is projected to stay above. And I will point out one thing on this chart, that back in fiscal year 21-22, that was kind of the peak of our fund balance. We've been intentionally drawing down our fund balance for our debt pay down, and Jennifer will touch on that in a little bit. So while I'm on this slide, I just wanted to point that out. Budget projections for our Measure S revenue, which again is our sales tax. It's the 1 cent additional tax that was approved by the Temecula voters in 2016. The revenue and expenditures related to that are accounted for in a separate fund for transparency purposes. Council created expenditure guidelines for Measure S in 4 areas, and those are public safety, asset management, capital improvements, and community services. So you'll see those priorities in the table below. The current fiscal year is highlighted in the purple there. Measure S revenue is about 39 million. And you can see that 10 million is dedicated to public safety, 4.5 million to asset management. We've got 43 million programmed for capital improvements, and 17 million for community services. One major thing to point out is at the very bottom is the fund balance. So we've got 14 million in fund balance this fiscal year, and that slowly drifts down a little bit to 6 million in the out years. In terms of the Measure S budget projections, revenue is down, which again, it's sales tax. Revenue is down about $1.5 million. That's been offset by investment returns of 1.1 million. The expenditures are mostly allocated to CIP projects. So if you look at the chart down below in 24-25, you'll see that big green bar standing tall there. That's our CIP, our Measure S revenue that's dedicated to CIP. And the reason that is so big is from project carryover, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. In the out years, however, the majority of the Measure S funding is going to be split between public safety and community services. And talking about community services, the budget projections for that, TCSD is a separate fund that accounts for activities, programs offered by Temecula Community Services District. The funding sources for that are program revenues, so that's how much we charge for classes, things of that nature. The Measure C parcel tax, and then the Measure S sales tax is what goes into to fund that. There's 13 divisions within TCSD, and you can see that in the chart on the right. The total budget's about $21.2 million. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Paula to talk about the capital improvement program.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Paula Majors, and I'm the Fiscal Services Manager for the City of Temecula. The Capital Improvement Program is a comprehensive 5-year plan that addresses the capital needs of the city. Capital projects are those that cost over $30,000, have long-term lifespans, and are generally non-reoccurring. The fiscal years 25 through 29 CIP is the largest in the city's history, with $927 million in total cost and 110 projects included in the adopted budget. The city has identified funding sources totaling $629 million, or 68% of the total CIP. The remaining $298 million is unspecified at this time. However, before construction begins on any of these projects, a funding source will be identified. In our mid-year budget process, one additional CIP project was added: traffic signal fiber optic extension. This evening, we would like to highlight a few of our CIP projects. French Valley Parkway Phase 2. This is a $138.7 million project. It's currently under construction. The project will alleviate the bottleneck on northbound I-15 between Winchester Road and the I-215 junction. This project has stayed on budget and on schedule with an estimated completion of May of 2025. The pickleball courts, located at Ronald Reagan Sports Park. This $3.7 million project is a 17-court destination for tournaments and recreation. The pickleball court celebrated its grand opening in February 2025. Construction on the I-15 congestion relief project, a $9.2 million auxiliary lane between Temecula Parkway and Rancho California Road, was completed in October 2024. Additionally, Caltrans will be working on a $56 million project to add the remaining 3 auxiliary lanes. The Dog Park, a $1.2 million project located at Mike Nagar Park, has been completed. The ribbon cutting was held July 30th, 2024. I'd like to turn the presentation over to our Director of Finance, Jennifer Hennessy, who will discuss the city's debt liability paydown status.
Thanks, Paula. Okay, so I think you're all aware, you've all been here last year. So back in 2022, December 2022, the council at the time adopted a debt and liability paydown strategy, and then codified that in our budget policies. And under that policy, the goal was to become debt-free within 7 years. And we're still on track. I'm happy to say that we're still heading in that direction. To date, we have paid off the 2 facility loans that we had on the Civic Center and on the Margarita Rec Center. Those both were paid off in the first year of this plan, as well as we paid $7.25 million towards our pension liability. In 23-24, we paid another $14.5 million towards the pension liability and fully paid our OPEB, which stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits, which is long-term for retiree health benefit. So We are 100% funded now in our retiree health benefit for those employees that were eligible to receive that, so that's great news. And then in 24-25, current year, we're paying 7.9 toward our pension liability, and then so on and so forth is the plan. The reason we're paying all of this down is to not only will we save millions in interest savings, as indicated in the green line on the bottom there, but it also creates annual budgetary savings. So we're saving on the annual payments that are required for all of these debt items, and that will generate nearly $6 million in annual savings that will be able to be utilized elsewhere within the general fund and the other budgets for the city. This is a chart that illustrates what I just said. Probably a lot better to look at this one. If you look at the green line, that's been our payment so far since the beginning of our debt paydown strategy. So in 22-23, we paid, oh, this is just for the pension liability, by the way. So we paid about $11 million in 2023. Our required payment was just under $4 million, and that's shown there in the orange line. And then we continued to pay a higher amount, and then the delta, or the difference between the orange amount and the green amount is what are called additional discretionary payments, or that's where we're paying in advance of what our required payments are. And we're doing that so that you can see by the time you hit fiscal year 29-30, our payments drop to zero. Had we not accelerated these payments and paid these down in 7 years, we would be paying $6.9 million that year, about $6.6 the next year, and so on and so forth, and we wouldn't reach zero until theoretically 2044, 45. So all of those years we're saving those annual payments that we would otherwise have to pay if we had not embarked on this paydown strategy. Any questions on that before we jump into our survey, or any questions so far? Just keep going. We'll keep going. Okay, so in the past, the city has conducted community satisfaction surveys. I'm sure you've heard of these. About every 3 to 4 years, we try to do one. And these are statistically valid surveys where a surveying company is hired and they conduct a survey of citizens within the city limits. In the past, they've done them through phone calls. Our city manager's office is going to be embarking on a new one this coming year. So they're working with a consultant now to develop the survey. In our recent history, we've received very high ratings in these community satisfaction surveys. You can see by the chart there in 2001, 2007, and 2012, we all three of those came up with a 92% satisfaction rating. 2014, it jumped to 93. And then 2021, it took a dip down into 83%, but that is, as they call it, the COVID effect. So we are going out again very soon to take another survey. But what we'd like to do tonight is do sort of a mock survey with you all. And if you go to your screen, if you click the PC button, you can access a real-time survey that we're looking for anyone and everyone, all of us that are left, can participate. And then we'll be able to see the results as we go through. So the first question is, how would you rate the overall quality of life in Temecula? You guys can play too if you want. Okay. We got 2, 3. You can see the number of respondents up in the top right there. So 3 respondents. Anyone else? Nope. Well, we're going to assume that you're going to say excellent and move on. How about that? All right, I'm moving on. Okay, question number 2. Generally speaking, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the job the city is doing to provide city services? And this is the question that's used when I showed the chart previously that showed the 92, 93%. Okay. Now we got 6 people responding now. All right, very good. Next question. What are the names of the 1 or 2 stores you'd like to see come to Temecula? And just go ahead and type them in. Okay. IKEA, Whole Foods. Those have made the list in the past as well as the other commissions. Top Golf. That's okay. Some others that made the list were REI. That's come up a few different times. Definitely Whole Foods and IKEA. In the past, we had Trader Joe's, and we've gotten that. We had Texas Roadhouse, and we got that. Cheesecake Factory, we got that. So it's been interesting to see kind of how it changes over time and how many we actually do draw into our community. That was on one of the lists too. Yeah. Uh-huh. And a Porsche dealership. Yeah, I would go with that. Okay. Next one. Generally speaking, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the city's efforts to improve traffic circulation by improving roads and intersections, implementing traffic calming measures, timing traffic signals, and other measures? And we'll be consolidating all the different commissions' responses to this and share it with the council at the workshop. So. But it'll be anonymous, don't worry. All right. Well, those are better ratings than we get in the community survey, I will say that. Oh, did I go too fast? Okay. All right, so what are 1 or 2 things that you like most about living in the city of Temecula? Great. All right. Yep, I think all of those made the list on the last survey. Yep, I was going to say, and public safety was also on there. A safe community. Clean city. Very good. Okay, couple more here. What are 1 or 2 things that you like least about living in the city? Mm-hmm. First time I've seen that one, but all right. Yep. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, I believe this is the last one. So If you could attend one signature event each year, which one would you attend? Not car guys, huh? Oh, there's one, okay. All right, so it's a tie amongst all those. Very good, well, that's very consistent with what we've seen. The Christmas parade is definitely the fan favorite amongst all the commissions so far, so. All right, well, that is all of our survey questions for tonight, so thank you for playing. Hopefully that was a little bit fun. I'm not exactly sure when the survey is going to be rolled out to the community, but I'm sure you'll hear about that when that happens. And like I said, we're going to share the results with the commission or the council. And were there any last comments or questions that you might have? Yes.
Yeah.
You may.
Thank you. This is probably for my fellow Trojan. How old was that University of Michigan projection? Is it post-January or is it pre-January? Okay. You guys still think that's valid? No. Okay. As far as projected earnings, when will you guys do another revise? I think you said in a month or two, because we were buoyed by the end of the year going up, but now looking at what's going on. Oof.
Yeah, we update that monthly. So we actually bring, as part of the treasurer's report that comes to council each month, it shows what our earnings activity has been. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I noticed that in 1909 it's been busier.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lyman?
Just two quick questions. How is it, can we be helpful in spreading the survey in the community, or is that just something that goes out? I'd love to see more participation on that survey, so I don't know if there's a way we can help with that.
Well, because it's conducted by a surveying company,
Okay.
I think they do the outreach and they do it very statistically valid. So they have random calls, randomly select the people that are called, and so I'm not sure that we would need to do much outreach for
Okay.
that, but I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure if they called me, I didn't answer, so.
Yeah.
The second question is there a way for us to see how we track the capital improvement plans with the quality of life master plan and the values in that? Is there a place that we
Yes.
can see that?
Actually, within our CIP document, every capital project is linked back to a QLMP value and our goal. So in the document itself, there's a budget page for each project that gives it the description and it gives the core value that
core value, yeah.
project is addressing.
Excellent. Follow-up question to that, do you see consistency across the core values in the capital improvement projects, or do they tend to lean one way or the other?
Public safety is such a high priority. A lot of them go towards public safety, and a lot of them go towards the mobility. I can't remember what the thing is, but traffic related.
Mm-hmm.
So those are probably the two most predominant ones, but it varies.
Okay.
Each year it varies. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody, Commissioner Deutsch?
No, I thought that was amazing.
Well, thank
And
you.
the tech on the last part was really great, too. Thank you for that. No, it's very helpful to know what's going on.
Commissioner Stevens, anything from you? I just have one question and kind of follow-up to Commissioner Electors as well. So on the survey, and understanding that it's a separate entity that conducts this, is there an age group that is being targeted?
No, they do, at least in past surveys, they do ask demographic questions so that we do know kind of how the different age groups answer the different questions. They do it by age group, they do it by where in the city do you live, how long have you lived in the city, so they ask several questions that they can then kind of slice and dice the answers to see how the different demographics answer each of the questions.
Okay, so we are getting, I guess, confirming that we are getting a youthful perspective as well with that, because I know that was something that has been a topic of conversation amongst this commission before, in terms of how can we continue to keep and retain our youth here in the city, and gaining that information from them would be, I suspect they would have very different answers that we may have put in. I don't know that Whole Foods would have been on their list, but I think some other really interesting things could have been. So,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Great question.
Why am I asking you?
I don't know.
I
Why are
don't know
you?
either. So when you're reaching out to that, and we're adding so many new apartments and new facilities, how do they add those folks for the outreach, for the survey?
I honestly can't answer that, so that would be up to the surveying company on how they generate their call list. Yeah, I'm not sure that I have that answer for you.
And using phones, of course, doesn't have quite the same penetration it once did.
I did ask that question, if they're morphing away from just landline calls, and they are. So few people have landlines anymore, so they are utilizing cell phones. I think they even said texting technology. So I'm sure just in and of itself, that
It
will.
all evolves.
Yeah, that'll bring in more youthful answers, so.
Thank you. It was a great presentation, all of you.
All right. Well, thank you
provided
very much.
Thorough information. Thank you.
All right, have a nice evening.
Thank you, Madam Finance Director, for your presentation, and thank you once again for waiting till after the Women's History Month presentation. We appreciate you guys. Our finance department does a great job. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Okay, so go on to commissioner reports as it pertains to all the other things today. So anybody want to start? Commissioner Deutsch? Well, I started on this side last time, so I figured I'd balance it out.
Should have made notes. Can somebody else start?
Sure. Lyman? Commissioner electors, we're back to you again.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to report this month. I've participated in a couple of community organizations. I sit on the board of Mission Hope, so we had a board meeting this morning. My wife, my lovely wife, is the co-chair of the Interfaith Council, the Temecula Valley Interfaith Council, so I attend that with her as well. Most of my efforts lately that are relevant to our community have been really on understanding how we do justice-oriented work in the current environment. So understanding the era of retrenchment that we're in, the era of backlash that we're in, and so I hope that I'm learning things that we can translate into our community and support our city staff as we're kind of learning how to move through this environment. There's a huge push to ban language along with banning other stuff, which is pretty simple and predictable, but it takes some intention to really work through and understand how we respond to that and continue to center our work, our justice work, our equity-based work. So that's kind of where my attention has been for the last month, and in particular at the national level. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Deutsch?
Now you want me to go?
Yeah, you ready?
All right, there have been some interesting things. I know that there have been some interesting protests out in our public space, and when we were just doing the survey, I was thinking that I am appreciative for the free speech that Temecula encourages, both here at the City Hall and in front of the duck pond. I think it gives people an opportunity to express concerns. Also, it is the Jewish holiday of Purim, which is based on the book of Esther. And the story of Queen Esther is the story of a proud, strong woman who stood up for her community against the odds. And I think that that is fitting with our Women's History Month program that we had here today. I am really, again, encouraged by the students who were here and everything that happened in this room this evening. when you talk about justice and the future. I think that we are seeing the kids who will be carrying it on their shoulder as they move out of high school and into the community at large.
Thank you. Commissioner Steed?
Yes, I had the privilege of attending Black History Month ceremony at Temecula Elementary School with former Commissioner Eric Faulkner, so that was super fun. We had a really nice time. A little 9-year-old boy came to his teacher and said, we should do something to celebrate Black History Month, and so the teacher rallied around him and made it part of their Friday presentation. So it was an honor to be there, and it was super, super cute because those kids are adorable. I had intended on going to the mural unveiling yesterday because it's the Irish American mural, and they got rained out, which is so typical of the Irish mural. I mean, boy, am I not surprised. But I was ready, like I was full on ready. And then on to more serious topics. We obviously are seeing a lot of issues with DEI. I had somebody have a conversation with me on Friday morning, and DEI is about inclusion. I mean, the last letter stands for inclusion. So when we think of whether it's race, whether it's our veterans, whether it is our special needs community, it is about it being inclusive of everybody and making sure that we're including everybody. So let's try to remember all of the whole DEI and not just the parts that you don't particularly like for some reason, because when it applies to you, then it will matter to you. So I think that's really important to remember. And lastly, when we talk about our education system, I know a lot of parents are starting to freak out when it comes to IEPs. Again, let's remember it is about inclusion, and so I feel like it needs to be said. And I look forward to hearing from everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Aventop?
Well, since last we met, I was fortunate enough to attend the special games. Always a wonderful and heartwarming celebration. I was also able to participate in the California Nations Indian Gaming Association's annual Western Indian Gaming conference, and that's as really, although it's a trade show, it's as much about tribal rights and such. And I don't know if you guys are following the true assault on tribal rights that's going on right now, including whether or not tribal members should be members of tribes or should be even members of the United States. Pretty disturbing stuff. So certainly we'll be watching that. Other than that, I wanted to just say that in addition to the incredible people that were in the audience, I'm always inspired by the folks that are on the dais. I mean, we've got one of the top clerks who happens to be a lawyer, who happens to be a statewide leader over there. We've got a published author, a leader in the community and entrepreneur, an educator. We're bringing up the rear, bro. I mean, seriously.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, but, and that's it for my report.
Thank you. So it's been busy, and certainly since our last meeting, there was the continuation of and the celebration of Black History Month going through February. But of course, as we know, Black History should be celebrated every month, all of the time. But Margarita Middle School had an amazing celebration. They did a great job. They actually did it in conjunction with their Bring Your Parent to School. So it was really great to be able to share that cultural experience with other families, not just the students, so that was really great on their part. Rancho Elementary also had a Black History Month celebration, which was incredible. This was their first ever, and they really kicked it off well with a lot of different food trucks and presentations, and they just had an assortment of really neat things that was happening there. So kudos to all of our schools and our sites for continuing to do the work. I was fortunate enough to attend one of our absentee commissioner tonight, and for good reason. Commissioner Denise Wilson put on a phenomenal Rock Your Red. I was able to be there and see several of you, and it was, she's an incredible woman. And what she does and what she has built with Rock Your Red is nothing short of amazing. So kudos to her, and we miss her tonight, but I know she needed a little break after doing an event like that. So that was great. To Commissioner Steed's point, it's interesting to see working in education right now, and how these things are affecting our young people, not just families, but our young people. I've had several students in tears because they could not do something, or the language around something was not acceptable any longer, or different things, and it's heartbreaking because, as you said, it is about inclusion, and it's an unfortunate thing. But what I can tell everyone, and what I told my students who had those moments, is that the work has always been here. It's always been here, and the work will continue to be here. And how we respond and how we take up that torch of continuing to do the right thing is different for everybody. But it requires all of those diverse acts in order to continue to move the progress forward. And so, however, people choose to take up that torch and have their voice heard is needs to be fitting to them, but also in a way that continues to move it forward in a manner that is going to be effective. And sometimes that's the quiet side, and sometimes that is the not so quiet side, as we see with some of our people within the city. But we need those people too. And so I'm very proud, again, for the city for providing spaces for all of our people, all of our community members, to have their voices heard. Not just at a duck pond or in front of City Hall, but within this room as a safe space, within the clubs and the classrooms that are there for even our youngest of children to be able to express themselves in these times that are confusing to some degree. So I'm just really proud to be part of a city that is continuing to provide this space and continuing to do the work irrespective of what the current outside climate may be. So with that, absolutely.
Add one thought, and it is to your point and Commissioner Steed's point, say the words, don't trivialize, don't acronymize, I don't know if that's a word or not, don't say DEI, say the words, make sure that we put it out there, and then invite people to say what they disagree with. What part of that is wrong? What part of that are you concerned about? That's one of the things that we're trying to consider as we build these strategies and tactics going forward. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that, and I agree. With that, do we have a executive director report?
I just wanted to wish all of our Temecula residents and business owners that are celebrating Ramadan, February 28th through March 29th. Muslims worldwide, millions celebrate the month through fasting and prayer and reflection and community. So to all in the Temecula community that are celebrating, happy Ramadan.
Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.